Yeah. Yes. Everywhere.
Because I had a hat on, and then I didn't, and I haven't been in the...
I put one on, and then mine just goes.
Shoveled there, put a little hat on, shoveled it all up, took Indy for a walk, came back, it snowed again.
It's going to snow all day, isn't it? I think.
We got a few minutes, so we'll just hang out and at least JP to get here.
Hey, good morning, Bruce. This is Greg.
Morning, Greg.
Morning,
John Wagner's on too, Bruce.
Hey, John.
And Bruce, Sean Hinton.
Hey, Sean.
Hi.
Hey, Bruce, Bonnie Ron.
Hi, Bonnie. Anyone else hanging out there?
Oh, look, is on. JP's here.
JP, Paul, good morning.
Morning.
I think we've only got 2 board members, or are there more out there?
I hope so.
Hopefully they're coming. JP's there. Bob.
She cannot.
Jeanette, Pat, or Doug out there yet?
Well, I feel like there was one.
This is Pat.
Pat. Hey, Pat, good morning.
Good morning. I hope you're staying warm up there.
No,
Brian.
we're all going to come visit you, Pat, so we can warm up. I like that idea.
Did I hear Jeanette?
You did. I just jumped. Good morning.
Good morning. How about Doug? Mr. Chairman, we've got 4 members on, kind of at your leisure.
Just text Doug.
Oh, why don't we go ahead and get started? And, I'm sure Doug will get on shortly here.
Sheila's in a meeting and she won't be on, and I didn't hear anything from Ingrid, so I'm guessing she won't be either.
Okay.
Is Alex out there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I am. I'm here.
Checking. Thank you.
You bet.
Let's see. The webinar is always kind of a fun way of doing this. So maybe Paula, or if you're there, or Penny, can you just read who's on the webinar for us for the minutes, and then take a roll call?
Are you doing that, Penny?
Alex Burkhalter. Fox.
Leslie Garner.
Chandra Legers. Greg Gould. John Wagner.
Right.
Very well.
Sean Hinton, Wells Fargo.
Pat Melby.
Paul Howitt.
Randy Stevens. And then I heard Sean Hintz and Bonnie Franz is out there.
Yeah.
And anyone else?
Good morning, Doug Kierker, Board of Housing is here on the phone. I haven't made it to the webinar yet.
Thank you, Doug.
And Mina Chu is on the line as well.
I mean it.
And Bob
Morning.
Goetsch, I'm on the line. I got the webinar up, but
Okay, Bob Goetsch too.
Leslie Garner with Cornerstone Home Lending.
Thank you, Leslie.
Sandra Ligursky, First Federal Bank and Trust.
Good morning, Larry Long at Wilmington Trust.
I think maybe we've got someone else is out.
Okay. Great. Thank you, everybody. Do we have any public comment on items that are not on today's agenda?
Mr. Chairman, this is Alex Burkhalter from Housing Solutions, and I do have some public comment on things that aren't on the agenda. If you'd like me to proceed now, I can. I promise it
Yes,
won't
please.
be long, but it is impactful.
Okay. Thanks, Alex. Go ahead.
Yep. So, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I worked with Mary and Penny to send over this spreadsheet. I wanted you guys to just take a look at and be aware of. There's quite a bit going on in the tax credit equity markets in the last couple of weeks after the election, and a lot of conversation that's had going on around that. You know, the President-elect Trump is talking a lot about reducing the tax rate. I've heard him say the corporate tax rate, I've heard him say as low as 15%. Speaker Ryan has a proposal with it at 20%. And, you know, there's one thing I remember all the way back in my Finance 100 college course, and that was that markets don't like uncertainty. And so I've had several conversations with different housing tax credit buyers and syndicators over the last couple of weeks, and it seems that we can expect, at least for the next 12 months, some pretty radical changes in pricing. And that, I think, will most certainly affect the 2017 Housing Tax Credit Awards you make next in January. And so I just kind of wanted to share some information with you. But before we get into the bad news, the good news is our lobbying groups for the Housing Tax Credit Program are doing a great job on the Hill. Legislators seem to be reasonably well educated and with regards to our program, the housing tax credits, and for it. As there's lots of discussion about tax reform, I think that our program and industry will come out the other side in a pretty good place. They understand the value of the housing tax credit, and that really we're the only game in town as far as producing housing. But this time of transition could be kind of turbulent. So that's the good news, bad news. What I just wanted to quickly show you was how this kind of rapidly changed housing tax credit market is affecting projects. So the spreadsheet is just a generic 24-unit deal, 24-unit housing tax credit project. At the top, you could see where it had requested in cell B2 $422,000 in credits, a maximum eligible credit at $500,000. What the credit pricing was back when it would have turned in an application and where it's at today. And so you can see cell B4 is 96 cents, B5 is 88 cents. That represents an 8-cent decrease in housing tax credit pricing. Basically, what's happening in the market right now, why there's a decrease, it's coming from two directions. One, some investors knowing they're going to make a 15-year investment, are just kind of backing away from the market to see what happens with tax reform, what their long-term corporate tax rate will be. Other investors that are staying in the game are changing their underwriting and assuming, rather than a 35% corporate tax rate, a 25 or even a 20% corporate tax rate, and running all their calculations that way. So the 8-cent decrease shown here is on a model with a 25% tax rate. If they model it at 20%, it falls to a 10 or 12-cent decrease. So anyway, what I just wanted to show you, column 1 was a nice round balanced deal in September at 96 cents. Column 2 represents what happens in current conditions. If you see at the bottom, D25, there's a funding gap of about $335,000 or 7%. That would be a big hole for any job to fill, just unadjusted, knowing that these things are kind of stretched, just when times were good. So as I've talked with different syndicators and folks in the industry, there's a couple approaches to fill that gap, and I just kind of wanted to show you what those look like. Column 3 represents a scenario where additional credits were awarded to a project. In cell F13, it shows, rather than the 422,000, 460,000 in credits. That's roughly a 10% increase. That would make up for the decrease in housing tax credit pricing. And then column 4 is another approach that could be taken, at least it would work with new construction, where you have the same number of requested credits, H13, 422,000, but the project size is scaled back a little bit, reducing cost, but you're more credits per unit to make up for the decrease in pricing. And I guess my purpose today was just to kind of share this with you, so you could be kind of thinking about it as we move into the housing credit round in January. Unfortunately, I don't think 2017 for housing tax credit projects is going to be a year where we can kind of make awards and then not forget about it, but there's going to have to be some flexibility, I think, on all parties, and so just wanted to make you aware of that and get you thinking about it, and also try and answer any questions or any thoughts you might have in seeing this information.
Thank you, Alex. That's kind of depressing, but very helpful, especially going into a tax credit round in January. Does anybody have any questions or comments on that? Either board members or anybody on the phone?
If board members don't have any questions, I have a comment. This is Mary.
Go ahead, Mary.
So staff has the ability to raise the request for an application. So we're contemplating doing an additional reservation for approximately 10% of the credits, and that additional reservation, and it would be separate, would be contingent upon the price of the credits. It wouldn't cover any overages or anything. It would just, we would use it to adjust the amount of credits depending on the price that they get. So that is nothing that you guys need to make a decision on. It's something that we have the ability to do.
Mary, would that require us to essentially set aside 10% of the credits at the start?
No, we'll just do a reservation.
Exceed our total?
We'll raise the amount of credits that we're asking you to approve for each project.
Okay.
Some of those will be limited by the 25%. The cap did go up for the credits, so there's still some room for the ones that came in at the top of the 25%.
Okay. Is there any questions for Mary? Or for Alex? Okay. Well, thank you, both of you.
JP?
Yep. Thank you. Yes.
I was just, Mary, is there a chance we could see projects from last year needing additional credit at this point, or are they far enough along that more than likely they...
Most of them are closed.
Okay.
And they would have to come in and ask for credits
Right. I'm just
at this point. Yeah.
expect to see that.
I think most of them are already to a point that I think we've got one hanging out there still. But
okay. Thank you. I'm done, JP.
Okay, is there any Thanks, Bruce. Is there any additional public comment on items not on today's agenda? Hearing none, we'll move along to the minutes. Board members, I would entertain a motion for the November 14th board webinar.
This is Goshi. So moved.
Jeanette, second.
Any additional comments or questions on the minutes from last meeting? Seeing none, Paula, I guess we'll do a roll call vote for everything today.
Todd?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Jeanette?
Yes.
Pat?
Yes.
JP?
Yes. Okay, minutes for last meeting have been approved. Now move on to next item on our agenda, which is, now my screen just went blank. Now the finance program with Ginger.
So I'm going to step in for Ginger, and it looks like she's just fine with that idea. So the next item on the agenda is the bond trustee for single-family bond program selection. If you guys remember back in August, we did receive notice that the selection of our bond trustee is not subject to the state procurement requirements. So at that August 15th meeting, you guys approved us to go out RFP or selection proposal. Based on that proposal being put out there and the deadline being October 19th, we received proposals from U.S. Bank, Wells Fargo, Wilmington Trust, and Zions Trust. All these proposals were really top-notch. I really got to thank the companies that took the time to put in for this RFP. They all should be very proud, and they all put in really, really high-quality proposals. And basically in all areas. We asked about their ability to do things such as reporting and electronic capability. We also talked about their firm and staff qualifications, experience with bond issues like this, and the key personnel that will be working on our account. We also contacted references for each company, which were all outstanding. And the cost proposals at the end were very reasonable, and the differences between them were actually pretty negligible. So basically the RFP outlined that the contract will be awarded to the offerer that MBOH in its sole discretion determines will provide the highest quality trust services at a affordable price that's demonstrated in the proposal based on the consideration of the stated factors. Cost is only one factor. The proposal from the staff team recommendation is to approve Wilmington Trust as the board's single-family bond trustee based on the following staff comments. I just referred to, and as noted above, all offers submitted quality proposals that met all RFP requirements. The staff review committee carefully evaluated and compared all proposals under all the factors specified in the RFP and gathered and considered comments from the references. Based upon this evaluation of the proposals, staff believes that Wilmington Trust will provide the highest quality trust services to MBOH and its bondholders at affordable prices. The primary reason for this recommendation include the relationship manager will be Paul Hoke. He has 20 years of experience in corporate trust. Prior to joining Wilmington in 2016, he worked directly with MBOH accounts and has an extensive and specific working knowledge of MBOH's business. A relatively smaller size of Wilmington Trust will help provide more of a personal service and attention to the details of MBOH's account that are needed to effectively manage the program. And then number 3, the conversion of MBOH's account will be relatively seamless and will save staff as Wilmington and Wells Fargo both use the same bond software. For all these reasons, staff recommends the board determine that Wilmington Trust will provide the highest quality trust services at affordable prices as demonstrated in the proposals and award the contract to Wilmington Trust. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer.
Are there any questions from board members for Bruce? And is there public comment on the proposed change to Wilmington Trust for the trustee? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion from one of the board members to approve the new trustee as Wilmington Trust.
This is Jeanette. I would approve Wilmington Wilmington Trust as the board's single-family bond trustee.
This is Doug, and I'll make the second.
Are there any final comments from board members?
Mr. Chairman, the only request that I would have is as part of that motion to include the language under the proposal section of the presentation, if that would be acceptable.
Yes, that's acceptable to me.
And the second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Paula, can you do a roll call vote for us, please?
Todd?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Jeanette?
Yes.
Pat?
No.
JP?
Yes.
4-1. Yes.
Motion carries.
Did we lose
Okay.
everyone?
No, I'm on.
Yep. Still here.
Bruce or Ginger, is there any additional finance program? Nope.
No, we're not doing an update today.
Yeah, I think we're good on that section, and again, thanks to all the applicants who put in. Appreciate it.
Okay, we will move along to the homeownership program. Vicki Bauer.
Good morning. This morning I have a request for a couple of lender approvals for participating in our program. The first request is for Cornerstone Home Lending. Cornerstone Home Lending is an S corporation headquartered in Houston, Texas. They operate primarily through retail production branches and various affiliates, which originate residential mortgages in numerous states. The Montana Lending location is in Bozeman, where they have staff who have experience with board programs. Cornerstone is interested in participating in the board's MCC program, and they are approved to underwrite FHA, RD, and VA loans. They will sell their servicing to Montana Board of Housing. Per their December 31st, 2015 balance sheet, Cornerstone has an equity to asset ratio of 17%, which meets the criteria of MBOH participating lender set at 6%. All the required errors and omissions and Fidelity bond insurance coverage requirements have been met, and their financial statements are available for board members to review upon request. So our proposal is staff requests the board to approve Cornerstone Home Lending Incorporated as participating lender with MBOH. Leslie Garner is available on the phone if there are any questions or if she'd like to make any comments at this time.
I'm here, no comments, but would love to take any questions if anyone has one.
Thank you. Are there any questions from board members?
This is Doug. I'll make the motion to approve Cornerstone Home Lending as a participating lender.
Goshi will second.
Thank you. Is there any public comment on this lender approval? Okay. Paula, can we do a roll call vote, please?
Bob?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Jeanette?
Yes. Yes.
Pat?
Yes.
JP?
Yes.
Zero yes. The next request for lender approval is for First Federal Bank and Trust. First Federal Bank and Trust was originally established in 1935 as First Federal Savings Bank. Its home office is in Sheridan, Wyoming, and it now has an office in Billings, where staff there also has experience with bond programs. They're interested in participating in all Board of Housing programs. They're approved to originate FHA, VA, and RD loans, and they will sell their servicing to Montana Board of Housing. For their most recent report of condition for the quarter ending June 30th, 2016, First Federal Bank and Trust has an equity to asset ratio of 16%, which meets the criteria of the board set at 6%. They do have the required errors and omissions, Fidelity bond insurance set by the board, and their last 4 quarters of report of conditions are available upon request. Staff requests the board approve First Federal Bank and Trust as a participating lender, and Chandra Lugursky is available on the line to answer any questions.
Are there any questions for Vicki? Any public comment on this lender approval?
I'll make the motion, Jeanette, to approve First Federal Bank and Trust as a participating lender with Board of Housing, Montana Board of Housing.
I'll make the second. This is Doug.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any final comments? Okay, Paula, can we do a roll call vote, please?
Bob?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Jeanette?
Yes.
Pat?
Yes.
JP?
Yes.
5-0 yes. Thank you. That's all I have today.
Okay, thank you, Vicki. We'll move on to the multifamily program. Mary, you can take it away.
Mr. Chairman, board members, we are proposing amendment to the resolution for Big Sky Manor for the bond deal. There was a clerical error on the name of the bank in the resolution. We stated Citibank, and it needs to be Glacier Bank Corp. And the proposal is that the board would adopt this amendment.
This is Doug, and I'll make the motion to adopt the amendment for resolution number 161017.
Gochi will second.
Any questions or comments for Mary? And any public comment on this amendment? Hearing none, Paula, can you do a vote for us, please?
Todd?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Jeanette?
Yes.
Pat?
Yes.
JP?
Yes.
5-0, yes.
Thank you. Mary, is there any additional multifamily program items today?
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Bruce, do you have anything else for us?
No, I don't, other than to wish everyone happy holidays.
Same to you.
Same to you.
Okay.
To everyone.
Enjoy the rest of the year, everybody. We'll see you in January.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.